Hey y'all, going back to something a little old school that I haven't gotten to do in a while. I'm getting in the truck and driving a fairly far distance to go visit a brewery this morning. It's about 8:30 in the morning. I've got about a 2-hour drive, and I think it's going to be worth it because I get to go to an amazing place, a place that everyone talks about in the beer world, the new Glarus Brewery in New Glarus, Wisconsin. Let's go on a little adventure, y'all. So this is probably the prettiest brewery I've ever seen in my life, or at least in this country. They even have a working bell tower, y'all. Yeah, definitely the prettiest brewery I've ever experienced. So while they do have guided hard hat tours on Friday, every other day during the week, it is a self-guided tour, and we're gonna check it out.
Well, the thing that I think that sometimes people miss is that this could only happen in America. This is a very special thing, and I think that it's sometimes taken for granted, but this is the American dream. There is nowhere else in the world this can happen. You cannot be a poor woman, without a college degree and then build up a multi-million-dollar empire. That can't happen. It can't happen. This can only happen in America. We're very lucky to be here.
I think one of the best parts about this tour so far is that we're not just in a museum. You can smell the fermentations, the brewing happening right now. You can smell the kettles, you can smell the boil and the mash. It's really delicious. That's so cool. Yeah, not very open right now, but maybe they're not making much spice beer right now. These are definitely not boilers for making beer. That is definitely a boiler used for steam pipes and steam jackets, because everything in this place is probably steam heated and steam jacketed. So you need a lot of boiler space. Ooh, don't mind if I do. Man, all that walking and learning stuff built a mighty thirst. I think it's time to have some beer. I'm so tempted. Decisions. So after that absolutely fantastic little self-guided walking tour of like a little museum and the brewery itself and packaging facility, you get to just go into the tasting room. You can do a single pint, glass of anything, or you can do a flight of 3 for $8. It's a 6-ounce pour, 3 6-ounce pours. You get a glass that you get to keep for with your 6-ounce pours. They even give you a little token. This is good for any small pour in town. So like anywhere in New Glarus, apparently, there's a bunch of breweries or places or restaurants that honor this little chit that give you a free pint in town. Or, like me, you're gonna hang on to it as an amazing little souvenir of this day. I cannot tell you how amazing this little place is, our big place. I mean, it's independently owned, employee owned. Budweiser apparently tried to buy them out or, invest in a piece, trying to become like small investors in it, and they just turned them down hand over fist and just did it on their own and on their own terms. And they have turned this place into an amazing facility, 150 acres. And there's little walking trails and offshoot paths, giant beer garden. But I'm gonna finish talking, I'm gonna start drinking a little bit. We start with, of course, the beer that is the name's kind of like the flagship. of New Glarus, the Spotted Cow. They call it a farmhouse ale. These guys are very traditional. They take a lot of German influence. Like their head brewer got his diploma of master brewing and all that in London, but you can definitely see the German heritage and the German influence in his brewing. Very clean. Like they call this a farmhouse ale, but it's not like, it's got a whole lot of spice. It's got some nice characteristics to it, but that grain, that Wisconsin grain that they're using as much local ingredients as they can. It's got a lovely ale character. It is an ale. Like the aromas are nice and just bready, but not too sweet. Not a whole lot of hop character, just enough to balance. You can really tell that this is about yeast and malt. It is probably it's a beer that I would drink just hand over fist if I were in the area. And that's the thing about New Glarus. You can only get it in Wisconsin. They tried to get in, they actually did some time in Chicago. They went to like Chicago, which is like the second biggest beer market in the US. And eventually they pulled out. They were like, no, this is too much. We are gonna stick with serving our community and our state of Wisconsin. And you gotta applaud that type of dedication to quality. And it definitely shows. Spotted Cow, my goodness. And you can get this at a grocery store for like less than $8 a six pack. And that's almost unheard of for beer of this quality nowadays. You gotta know, I'm going home. Before we leave, I'm leaving with so much of this. For the rest of the summer, it's going to be my beer. I don't care if I take up an entire like trunk space of the car in this, or like a piece of like my little real estate in the camper. I'm gonna leave with so much Spotted Cow. Like, it's not crisp. I mean, it doesn't have that like lager crispness. It is soft. It's very approachable. It's like a cream ale, but doesn't have that like kind of fizziness that the corn in a cream ale gives. You can definitely tell this is some malt beer, all malt beer. Their level of quality is just out of this world. I cannot say enough good things about Spotted Cow. Like, it's masterful in its simplicity. Now, the thing is, you don't get a flight here. You go up and you get, they give you a little wristband, and they give you, you get your three little tasting things. You gotta walk up every time, which is kind of nice. You know, nothing gets warm, but it definitely means that now gotta go get my next one. Gets my steps in. I do need to take a minute and just kind of show you like where I decided to go sit down for the first tasting. Like, every place has like these little ruins and like little steps, like little walking paths. It's just so pretty. It's amazing. When they got into this area, they said, Dan, the brewer, told Deb, it's like, oh yeah, this is the place. It reminds me of Bavaria. And I'm like, yeah, that's totally fair. When in Wisconsin, definitely have cheese with your beer. All right, went back to the bar, got my next sample, and I forgot in my excitement to get my first pour that I was going to pick up some little snack to go with my stuff, because when in Wisconsin, you've got to have cheese with your beer. And I also grabbed a little snack stick. Like, this was ridiculously well priced. Like, they don't have a restaurant or anything like that, but they definitely have a little cooler with all Wisconsin-made cheese, and this is a Wisconsin from Monroe, Wisconsin, Zuber's Sinfully Cheesy Snack Sticks with cheddar cheese. And like, this is the perfect little snack to go with these pours. So like, I had to try it. Oh, and the cheese is from Carr Valley Cheese in Lavale, Wisconsin, and it is a Gouda cheese snack stick. So very excited about that. All right, so I've got my cheese open, I got my little snack stick, and I've got the Totally Naked Wisconsin Lager. So there's a lot of beers in there, right? So they've got the Spotted Cow, of course. They've got Totally Naked. They've got the Two Women Country Lager, a little throwback to the history of how pretty much women did most of the brewing historically, and then men took up the thing and kind of made it a man, you know, like a very male-driven art, but it was women that truly, you know, they were the artisans of brewing for hundreds, if not thousands of years before then. So they've got that, they've got an IPA, they've got a No Coast Ale, pale ale, which I've had. It's a nice old pale ale. I'm sticking with what seems to be the beers. They've got an IPA as well and all that, but I'm sticking with the beers that it seems to be kind of like their flagships. The Totally Naked, they are making it with all Wisconsin malt. So all the grain is sourced from Wisconsin. They are bringing the hops in. They're German noble hops, totally legit. But these guys seem to pride themselves on their lagers, and man, that's a nice clear lager. It's very exciting to see. So let's. Unlike the Spotted Cow, which was a very soft aroma, very bready, very grainy, this is clean, definitely hop forward in the aroma, and definitely a noble hop. You got that kind of perfumey, kind of grassy German noble hop. Very nice. I mean, the clarity, spot on. Do another one. Oh my goodness, so clean. Unlike the Pilsner, which I've had, the Pilsner here, they definitely work towards like a hybrid German Czech Pils, so it is got some good sharp characteristic, nice spice, because they're using Czech and German hops. This is clean, nice and clean, not too bitter, whereas their Pilsner, very German style, kind of nice bitey on the back end. This, everything just disappears. It's so clean, it's so refreshing, very crisp. Let's try a little cheese stick here. I don't know what makes it sinful, because it's not spicy. They did have a spicy one, but I wanted to try the cheddar. That's so good. You can pretty much drink this with anything. Like, it is so bright and crisp. Anything, even something like nice and creamy, like the Gouda. Wisconsin, where have you been all my life with this amazing cheese? Oh my God. But like, even though this is a very light, very crispy beer, and like that's gonna, like, it definitely holds its own versus this very creamy, very creamy cheese. Just lifts it off the palate, so you really get a little bit of that. It's not bogging me down. And like, you're just like, you know, they call this the Hilltop Brewery. This is their second facility. They opened a place, it was an old warehouse, I think, or something like that, further into town. This is the one that they opened up later on when they really started growing and had to expand in. And this became just like the destination spot, whereas the other place, this is like their main production facility where they're making like all the spotted cow and all the totally naked and all that. And the old brewery is still in use. That's what they're using for their thumbprint line. The thumbprint line is apparently like, you know, the brewer wants to do little one-offs, or like, you know, he gets to really kind of stretch, Dan gets to stretch his brewery muscles and just kind of do the things he wants to do. It might be a complete one-off, it might be something that happens later on, or a seasonal, but all that happens at the old brewery. And this is like the main facility that has like all the tech to do all their main brewing for all their big beers. And, you know, of course, on a hilltop, so all these lovely views from all the different seating they've got out here. My goodness, just what a way to spend the day. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have a little snack so that, you know, not gonna make you watch me chew, and then figure out what I want next. Oh my goodness, what a lovely day. So we got our final tasting, and the sun has come out in force. But fortunately, there is an amazing amount of like wooded trails that also have just so many tables that you can just sit and be in a lovely shaded area. There's a little place called the Oak Garden. It's got some statues in it. It's just like some like lovely green space with a lot of shade. So I have moved to the shade for the final tasting, and we have the Oktoberfest. If you know me at all, you know that I love Oktoberfest beer. It is probably one of my favorite styles. It's got a lovely bready, biscuity, kind of like toasty aroma without being too heavy. Still crisp and clean, a good lager fermentation, and like lovely clarity of color, and great, not too dark. You can definitely tell it's not caramelly. It's got good, a little bit of spice from maybe some Czech hops or something. My God. You know, American breweries are doing so much with trying to like think outside the box and do all manner of different things to, like, you know, with like New England IPAs and hazy IPAs and going back to West Coast IPAs and sours and everything else. It's so good to see American breweries holding to just making a wonderful traditional style of beer. Gotta try it with the sausage. I mean, come on, sausage, cheese, and Oktoberfest. Can you get better than that at all? Oh my goodness. Like, this is a, you know, like summer sausage. It's nothing to sneeze at. A lot of flavor, a lot of fat, the cheese, extra fat. This just like still give you a little bit of smoky from remains. This just cleans the palate so well and leaves a wonderful bready character, nice and still very light, not too sweet like a lot of Oktoberfests. This is definitely the fest style or traditional style Oktoberfest. I could not be happier with this beer and this pairing and this environment and this day. If I were ever to think about like what my dream brewery would be if I ever decided to get back into this world, this would definitely be my dream. And this place right here, employee owned, They take great care in making sure their employees feel appreciated for their work. In their little video, they talk about, fair compensation and, paid time off and good health benefits, treating everyone with dignity and respect. And it shows. It shows in the product. It shows in the environment. Definitely walking around, because you're in the brewing space. Like you're in the facility, walking around the facility while they're doing stuff. They have made it, and like the people working, like, they're not, they've got business, they got things they got to do. It's not like they got time to stop and talk to you and talk to all the people while they're walking around. Like, they're working, they're doing a job. You can definitely tell that they're not just like going through the motions. You can definitely tell there's passion in what they're doing, and it shows in the final product. So yeah, I could not have been happier with this experience. I've got to bring Kira here when we're here. She was on her own little adventure, and I got the opportunity to come visit this place that I've heard about for the years that I spent in the craft beer world, and it is so amazing, and I feel blessed to have gotten to experience it. And that is all for me. I'm going to finish my little taste, finish my little snack, and get back to real life, getting ready for this coming weekend, our final weekend at the Bristol Renaissance Festival for the season. Thank you all for everything, and we'll see you down the road.